I have 4 movies that I've seen that I still have to review, and 2 of those 4 are absolutely horrendous movies that I hated. But let's start off with the 2 better ones first, or at least one of them, and let's start off with Rust Creek. Rust Creek is about a college student who gets a call about a job interview, so she has to go across country to get to this job interview. But this is sort of a horror movie, sort of a thriller, and her GPS gives her the wrong directions.
Guess we're taking the next ride.
Make a U-turn, if possible.
Give me better directions, if possible.
And so she stumbles upon 2 people that are a little bit creepy and kind of like creepy rednecks in a way.
Say, you won't make it anywhere before sundown, and we live just up a ways. So how about you come on over for some dinner?
Holly, shouldn't we just...
Oh, he ain't going anywhere. What do you say?
Thanks, but I really should be getting going.
No, that might not be the best idea. I mean, you got lost driving around here, and that was in broad daylight. And you don't want to be out here after dark, trust me.
Listen, no offense, but you're starting to make me feel very uncomfortable right now.
Is that a fact? Well, listen, we just want you to be comfortable. That's all we want. And it's going to get real cold out here real quick. So why don't you just come on back up to our place? We'll have a drink or 2. Maybe, smoke a little something. It'd be like a little party. Yeah? Come on, it's on.
Those 2 creepy men believe that she saw something that she wasn't supposed to see and try to kidnap her and kill her, but she escapes and runs off into the woods, and now it's a fight for survival as she's in the woods being chased by 2 creepy men. Along the way, she stumbles across another guy who tries to help her and keeps her hidden, but at the same time, he makes meth, and he's also related to the creepy men trying to kill her. So there is some uneasy relationship between the 2. Alright, I have to say this movie started off a little too rough for me. Not rough in the sense that it's a graphic movie or something uneasy. Rough as in the beginning is pretty bad and pretty generic. I can totally understand that this is the right time to release this sort of movie because it is sort of a, what was that movie, Revenge kind of thing, where it is a girl, creepy men are after her, and she's trying to fight for survival. So there is a place and time for that, and this is, in the climate we're in, this sounds like something that would be typically made during this point in time. Especially if you want a strong female protagonist, but I will say this movie is quite generic in terms of that genre. But I don't like to talk about the bad first. I like to talk about the good first in my reviews, and there was good to be had with this movie. In fact, the whole middle section of this movie is easily the best part in my opinion. It takes her about 30 minutes to eventually come across the guy that eventually holds her in, keeps her safe in this trailer. Now this guy, like I said in my intro, is a meth cook, or meth cook, is that the right term for it? He makes meth. I think the creators of this movie, whether it be the writer or the director or whatever, I think they wanted this concept in the movie to be the main ploy of the film, and it feels like that's really the heart of the film as this uneasy alliance happens between the girl trying to fight to survive and this guy who is trying to help her but is also in league with the bad people because he's dealing with certain things for the bad people, like making the meth because they want to eventually sell it to, I guess, make a bunch of money. But this person who makes meth, he actually does have a little bit of a heart to him, and he cares about the girl and wants to help her survive because he doesn't want innocents to die and all that. So I get that this clearly is like the heart of the film. Unfortunately, it takes about 30 minutes till we get to that heart, and the middle section of the movie is easily, like I said, the best part of the movie for me. Especially the development between these two characters. They kind of form a friendship with each other. And honestly, those two actors were the best, especially when they were together. To be honest, it's the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie that really drags this film down to generic level. To be honest, I wish that the majority of the movie was about these two characters and the middle section of this movie. Can you imagine if the movie started off with her waking up in the trailer tied up, you don't know what's going on, and then eventually it's kind of explained? Or maybe it was just a very quick moment before she stumbles upon him, like she's running through the woods, injured, faints, and then we have him find her. I don't know, there's something about the concept of this movie and the potential in this movie that could have been really good and entertaining, in my opinion, but it feels like maybe studios or maybe someone else thought maybe that's a little too risky, we should make it a little bit more mainstream, and then tacked on more of a generic ending and beginning to it, and it kind of messes up the movie in a way. The acting is a little bit, I wouldn't say it's bad acting. It started off feeling like it was bad acting, but as the movie progressed, I started becoming acceptable with the acting in the movie, and I have to say that one of the creepy guys, discount Tom Hardy, was actually pretty intimidating at times, and he was a good villain. He's not the main villain, unfortunately. The main villain is a cop, and that's a little... Not that cops can't be bad in movies, it's just he was very generic, corrupt cop. And the acting for the two main characters grew on me, and I enjoyed their performance. Now, I wouldn't say that it's a great performances or good performance. I'm just saying that all the performances in this movie are acceptable for the type of generic film most of this movie is. One of the things I do like about the film is that our main character is a little bit resourceful and can fight, at least at the beginning of the film. But at that same time, the smart things she does and the capable things that she does in the movie just makes the dumb things that she does even dumber in comparison. Because you got this character that is able to fight off these guys and seems like, oh, she is resourceful, she knows what she's doing in a way, and maybe she can be a strong-willed character for our main character. But then ultimately, sometimes she makes really dumb, stupid decisions that are just clearly like, wait, why? Huh? Here we have a girl that's capable of fighting off these two men and running into the woods and escaping them, yet at the same time dumb enough to make the decision to see a helicopter in the air, or maybe it was even a plane. It's been a while since I saw the movie. It's probably a helicopter. And she sees it in the air, and she's in the middle of the woods, and she's climbing up saying, "Hey, hey, down here, I need help." They can't hear you, lady.
Hey! Hey! Over here! Help!
They make that cliche in this movie for this character, and how it sets up the character at the beginning makes it feel like this is a type of character that wouldn't make that dumb decision. Speaking of which, the distrust of the character that helps her out towards the beginning when she wakes up in his trailer is a little far-fetched too, because yes, she had a traumatic experience with these two crazy guys wanting to kill her, but at that same time she knows that this person's helping her because she's all patched up and in a bed, and yet she thinks that automatically distrusts him and is thinking that this is terrible, he's kidnapping me, I need to get out of here. It's kind of like that, what was that? Was it The Fifth Wave? where it's reminding me of The Fifth Wave, holy crap, where our main character wakes up patched up and has an IV stuck in her and automatically assumes, oh, this must be a crazy person, I gotta get out of here, despite the fact that it clearly means that this person's helping you. But there's something similar to that in Rust Creek. One of the major flaws, I think, with this movie is we don't get a lot about our main character. We don't get to know her that well. It's introduced in a very simple, generic fashion, and we don't really get to know anything about her past or herself as a character. And she doesn't really grow all that much in this movie either. And so she becomes this boring character that is less interesting than the guy trying to help her. And while I do like the middle of this movie, the ending and the beginning are pretty generic in types of the genre that it's supposed to represent. It becomes a generic thriller at the end. The beginning of it becomes a generic, oh, I gotta fight for my life and survive in this wilderness while people are after me sort of scenario. Yes, you can be generic even with that kind of scenario. But despite the fact that the beginning and the end are pretty generic movies, almost to the point of being a 2-star movie, the middle is pretty good. I would say the middle of the movie is almost a 3 or maybe even a 3.5 in my opinion. So ultimately, I'm going to give Rust Creek 2.5 stars. I'd say it's pretty average and it's worth a watch if you're curious about the movie. If not, you might not want to bother. Like I said, the beginning and the end are generic, but who knows, maybe most people will like the beginning and the end, but not the middle. So, did you see Rust Creek? What'd you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and check out my movie reviews or countdowns of this year, of previous years, of whatever. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.